favor.
Ho ho ho, everyone, and welcome to the ETF2L Season 31 Awards Show. Christmas is just around the corner, and what better gift to give for Christmas than telling your loved ones, aka your fellow TF2 players, that they're the best. We got a bunch of awards to hand out, and to give you all their hot takes on these awards, we have a roster of wonderful people. So I think I'll introduce the first person, and then we can introduce the next one, and so on until we reach everyone. So I'll introduce DuMmTm first, the caster with the most games casted this season, just like every other season. So how are you doing, buddy?
Very easy. Pretty good. Been a fun season. Looking forward to who won which award, and let's not waste too much time. We got another pillar of the community here with Yohn.
Oh, hi. Hello. Hi.
Our last minute stand-in for most to any other people we try to reach out not being available. But he's here. He's ready.
Yes, I'm here.
Alright. Otherwise we have Ombrack as well. Casted played a few games, but not too many. But he tried his hardest.
I think I've lost as many games as I have won, so I tried a bit, but not too much, you know. Yes, that's me. I played for Swift, now rebranded, so check it out. And we have another really hype producer of the season, with Peter was one and Gemm was the other, and he's there on here. I
think Peter did like as many games as I did this season, to be honest. Plus a bunch of casting. So
I was second in a bunch of categories.
Well, and from the ETF2 side of things, we have admin Aoshi here, who has all the info on who actually won what.
Hello guys, what up? It's gonna be a fun little evening.
He's got all the deets. So just to guys give you an overview of what you can expect today. So we're going to do a quick season recap where we just talk about the season. And then we're going to go to all the awards immediately. We're going to try to be quick, we promise. And then we'll talk about some different things that maybe pertain to the future. So like what other achievements could we add? Maybe some land things, the Copenhagen land and so on. And then we'll do a season preview-ish of the season that's coming up. It's still a pretty far away in the future, but we can still speculate, and it's going to be fun. So let's start out with the season recap here. And I actually have like proof that I thought about this, because I was thinking about doing fantasy TF2. And so I can go look what I thought about going into the season before it started. So I had 7 number 1, Ascent 2, Feint 3, or Electro 4, and then Swift 5, Nunya 6, Fellowship 7, and Wiethoofd as number last. So I was pretty spot on with the top ones. Or Electro, they managed to not get into the playoffs, and Swift, they were all right, I guess. And then we had the Fellowship and Nunya both dropping from the season overall, and Wiethoofd were actually a lot better than a lot of people expected. But what about you guys? What do you have expectations going into the season?
Okay,
I didn't expect 2 teams to die. That's the start. Oh, sorry, what were you saying, Ombrack?
I'm saying this is where it's going to get messy when we all want to say stuff at the same time. But, yeah, I think it's
already
a good point to start with. 2 teams died, so it's effectively 6 teams throughout the whole season. So it's pretty. If there's one thing that was a bit bad about this season, I think that's the only thing it's the fact that we had 2 teams drop, because otherwise I think it was a really, really good season.
Yeah, it was an awkward time as well, because at the same time ESEA teams started dying, so like there was the one point mid-season where like everything was slightly falling apart in like both areas there, both NA and EU. But at least for EU, and I don't know about NA, it was mostly just like lower seeded teams that dropped out, so the top was still really exciting in the end, and the race for the playoffs mostly was unaffected. There was a little bit of potential for drop teams to massively matter in terms of who actually got like better amount of points out of those teams dropping. Because I think not everybody was able to get 6 points out of them. Some dropped a few points against the Fellowship before they dropped. So those teams effectively got a little bit of a boost from that, but didn't end up mattering too much in the end. But otherwise, yeah, obviously, like with the reunion of like the mostly old 7 roster, people expected them to do well. Domo was a little bit of a question mark. Not that he's bad, but I think Kalash mentioned like in the post Grand Finals interviews that they didn't really like attempt to integrate him too well into the team, or not too much anyway, so that led to him just being little bit like just thrown in for the most part until they like, properly did that, and took them a while to get there. There were moments where they were not playing too hot, but they got themselves together. Fane, I had a little bit higher expectations in, but during the time where the first two teams dropped, they also had some troubles and almost died, I think I heard. So them staying together and then still managing to do pretty well in the end is a fairly decent result for a team that was looking mighty dead in the middle of the season.
Yeah, it was I think there was not an easy ride for most of the teams. Like Ascent had some tough games that people didn't really expect them to have like struggle against. I think about the first game of the season against Swift, I think people expected them to win and they tied. So that was I think that was the first game of the season actually. So it was kind of a good showing of what would happen next. Like a really close season between pretty much everyone. Like Seven didn't have the perfect season that they were going for. I think Swift went into playoffs they were tied with Aura Electro and got a better tiebreakers to go into playoffs. So a lot of exciting things happening. And I know Yohn, you tried to make a team to make a burst crew going into that season. It didn't happen, but from an outsider perspective, what do you think about the skill level that we had this season? Even if it's only 6 teams in the end.
What, in Prem? Yeah, it was pretty good. I like seeing Seven not completely roll this season. There was another team that was at their skill level, more or less. Aura got a point off Faint, pretty decent roster, but choked a bit, I guess. Always like to see Polygon and Rising together. They're quite a duo. And Shocky, I like seeing Shocky play. Yeah, it was alright. It was a pretty good season. And again, shame about the two teams dying, but stuff happens.
Yeah, we mentioned pretty much every team besides the German team where this least is doof, and they were also quite a surprise. They had a really tough start to the season, had like a tough time even like getting over Nunya in the end at the beginning of the season, but then later on they really got themselves together with a few roster shuffles, got Dr. on the board, for example, and were able to almost sneak away points from 7 as well in the end. And that was massively surprising as well. Almost made playoffs in the end. Slowly fiddled away with the playoff dreams due to, who was it again? Josh causing them to lose a point by ETF2L rules, nickname rules, I think.
Yeah, that's classic Josh. He just came in, made them think they were doing all great, and then he just like went off to Australia. It was like, screw you guys, I'm going to Australia and I'm taking some points with me. It doesn't matter where I am.
Wait, Josh went to Australia?
Yeah, he's in Darwin right now.
Oh, I didn't actually know that. Ooh, whoops. I had no idea.
It's going to be weird. We have Josh in Australia, and then maybe we're going to have Paulson perhaps coming to Netherlands. It's going to be fat. We're just doing gamer exchange, I guess. But
is that a good trade for us?
I'd say that's
know.
good. I don't know.
Ooh. Go exploding from the inside.
Yeah, it's fine. He's asleep right now, right? I'm pretty sure that's how time zones work. Anyway, unless anyone has any more wise words about what happened this season, I think we should move on into the summer awards. Does anyone have any parting words, or do you just want to get some gifts giving going?
Div 1 was a shambles. My team shouldn't have died. We should have won.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mess, wasn't it? I don't even know the details. I just looked at the end results in the end. It was really weird to look at.
Weebs hate Opti.
I mean, it was a bit more than just Opti, but yeah, I think we should let it.
No, I know, but yeah. Anyway, sorry, go on.
All right, okay. So we're moving on. So we're going to start out with obviously the most important award here. And that's going to be Caster of the Season. And we have all the Brits in here. So we have Samsky, Epoli, Plonk, who's got his, I'll just call him British for consistency's sake. And then we have Grumpy Koi as well. And then we have some 3 casters from the 3 main countries outside of Britain in Europe. And that's, of course, Ombrack from France, DuMmTm from Germany, and Peter from Denmark. So, any thoughts on this? I guess, Gemm, you want to take this away first?
Yeah, I think I voted for Grumpy Koi in the end. In the past, he's like potentially a little bit of a shaky caster, but I think this season he really like came out of his shell and really just like seemed a lot more confident when he was casting.
I have to agree. I didn't vote for the cast of the season because, I don't know, I'm in there, so I just figured I'm not going to vote for anyone instead to make it fair, I guess. And Grumpy Koi probably would have been my vote. He improved massively. He got some feedback from Bren, for example, over the beginning of the season, from the grand finals last season. So he really took his time to improve that, and they definitely made a massive difference.
I voted for myself. I don't care.
Wow, I'm trying to have honor here, and then the Frenchman just...
Whoa, okay.
I voted for Epley. I really enjoy Epley's cast. It's just always a good time. And just, I like the way he plays the game. Not plays the game, like the way he can cast the game. It's really good.
Yeah, I don't think anybody likes the way Epley plays the game.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
No, he jumps into rockets and pipes while in here. It's fun. We like it. Yeah. So I voted for Epley. And I will also just say, it's really nice to see a lot of players or a lot of casters trying to improve and getting better at it. It's just really nice. I'm just kind of cruising at this point, so kind of hoping that someone else gets the award, to be honest.
Well, and the main reason you didn't get too many casts in the season beta was because you had to actually produce a lot, because the gemm was throwing out the season.
I moved.
Yeah, he was selfishly moving and earning.
Yeah, how dare he have a life?
Yeah. Very busy. Yeah.
And Wiethoofd is the way too. Everything, just relying on beta to do everything himself.
Basically,
and I mean, we almost had one cast where you had to produce and cast at the same time.
Oh yeah, that actually happened. That was the console tragedy, and that was not fun. I thought it would be really cool to do both, but I learned that you just end up sucking at both things at the same time, so it just feels awful. So I don't want to do that again. But,
yeah, I found the same, to be honest.
Yeah, what we talk about shortage of producer. Remember, people, if you're interested, you can apply and join the team to produce games because we need you to do that.
Yeah, all you need is a decent PC, a decent connection, and my willingness to learn how to use OBS, I guess.
It's very easy.
Yeah.
So join.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. Let's hear Yoshi. Who won this prestigious award?
Well, let's not just jump into the winner. Let's build up to it. Let's start with third place here.
Okay, I like it.
Third place with 12.85%, we have Grumpy Koi.
Wow.
That's actually surprising to me.
Yeah, I thought he'd win, sure.
Then on second place, we have Ombrack with 20.90%.
Forever second, I guess.
Forever second.
Probably forced every French person in the community to vote for him too.
I have not.
All the connections.
And then, unsurprisingly, for the 5th season in a row, caster of the season is Beater with 37.9%.
Yes, I voted Beta. Woo!
Hey!
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats, Beater.
Nice one, Beta. Nice one.
Man, we really need some new blood to step up, right? 5 seasons in a row. Do you understand how insufferable I'm going to be? It's all going to go to my head immediately, and I'm just going to be the worst person to talk to, because you're just going to be like, oh, I didn't really like this. I'm just going to go, oh, yeah, but 5 times, dude.
God damn it.
For themselves.
One thing to mention for Grumpy Koi is that he had to do a solo cast without pictures because there was an update.
Oh yeah, that was a great stream.
When the game happened, I think it was 7 against Ascent on the first map, and he had to do all of it.
Conspiracy theory that was just supposed to cut me down, so I don't get cast of the season. Because I was there, but my game crashed as much as the producers did, so he had to do everything alone. Now I could just ask questions, what's happening. So clearly, that's just a Grumpy conspiring against me.
Yeah, I was the producer. I forgot to cut off his voice, so he couldn't steal. I'll get better. All right, so let's move on to the next one, shall we? And it is about the most important class in the entire game. That's Scout of the Season. And in this, we have the 3 big ones, I would say. No surprise there. We have the last from 7, we have Kredu from Ascent, and then we have Tiger also from 7. So let's get the perspective of you, Yohn. Who do you prefer, or who do you hate playing against the most, I suppose I should ask?
The scouts. Crady's quite annoying to play against. Yeah, I don't really like playing against Crady. None of them are really fun to play against, but if I had to pick one, I guess I'd go Crady.
Crady is annoying to play with as well.
Wow, toxic.
He just races against spins.
I guess I should ask, is there anyone missing on this list? Is there
Amps.
anyone else you would love to see?
Where's Amps?
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of really talented scouts in Prem. Even when you look at Thane, there's Kunu and Sorex. Even though I think they're still below the one nominated, but I don't know where Amps is, and I was really surprised not to see him here, because I think compared to Tiger and Credo, he has to take more responsibility within his team, because he had to call as well for a really long time during the season. Well, Tiger and Credo didn't have to do that sort of things, and I think that was maybe a bit overlooked. But I mean, maybe if we had 2 awards for scouts, maybe Amps would have been there. I don't know. I still want 2 awards for scouts.
All right, so AMS maybe should have been on the list, but we only have 3. So Tiger, Credo, and Thalas, who would you favor, Dom, like of these 3?
It's a bit hard, especially with like different scout roles being a thing, so you have to like always have a little bit of a different perspective. I think I would take Flash over the other 2, just because I would value like his playstyle as a pocket scout and the way he does it a bit more over just, DM beast on the flank a little bit more, but that's just my perspective on that. And on pocket scout itself, he's just like one of the best.
Yeah, I bet you Thalas has the best stats already, scout, just because he plays pocket scout. He plays it extremely well on the best team.
Also, you have to take into account that with Cadus not being on the 7 roster anymore, he had to take most of the responsibility with calling, which we just said for Amps as well. So on that perspective, that's a similar angle as we had for Amps there, which is quite important.
Yeah. So I have watched a lot of games, right, and demos, and I will say I've noticed that there's 3 scouts that I've noticed that have extremely good movement in this game, and that is Thalas and Tiger and Shocky. And then there's also 3 scouts that have like insane aim, and that's Tiger, Credo, and Thalas. So I would say it's probably between Tiger and Thalas for me, because they both have the aim movement package. And I would probably give it to Thalas just because he has that extremely solid, like Happy Cool-esque pocket scout style. He has it completely figured out what he does, and he does it extremely well. And sometimes Tiger will kind of be erratic and seemingly run in, and I don't want to say throw, but he can be a bit erratic, at least for my taste. But there's no doubt about it, he's crazy good.
Yeah, I agree. I think Thalas should be the one who wins that. Even if Amps was there, I think Thalas would be the one who should win it, because it was mentioned how he had to put up a new role by being the one main calling. So they basically, without Cadus and Domo be playing, they had to basically not build a new team in the way Ascent had to, but they had to build new dynamics and new plays. And I think Thalas did that really well. They talked about it after the final, during the post-game interview, and I think Thalas mentioned how he had to put up that role. Tiger mentioned that as well, how important Thalas was in that, because Tiger said he couldn't main call himself. He couldn't call as a scout, and Thalas was able to do that really well. So I think he should win this. But I feel that the strength of Credo doesn't really relies as well in his ability to off-class, which doesn't really highlight his quality as scouts. Because Credo can play sniper really well, and people often think about Credo in the way where they can snipe. I think we all can remember the product game during the finals where Credo basically hit everything and allowed his team to win that map. So I think that's why Credo falls a bit behind Thalas and Tiger on these awards.
Let's not wait around anymore. Let's see who actually did win in the end.
Okay. Let's jump into it. On 3rd place, we have Tiger with 29.6%. And
Really?
on first place, we have with 35.17%. Both Talash and Credu, they tied
What?
at equally
Wow.
172 votes.
What a
nuts.
twist.
Wait, we have 2 Scouts Awards. That's crazy. It happened.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
dream came true, Ombrack.
Pocket and Plant Scout. There you go.
Yeah, that's insane.
What do we actually do if, because there's going to be the player of the season, and I'm sure, I can't remember if both of these are in there, but what happens if they tie, right? Because the winner is supposed to get what's it called? A vintage lo-fi long wave, which is like the construction had a little radio tower on it, right? That's the award that they get for being the best player of the season. What happens then?
Well, I'd say
They'll
that.
both get one, I guess.
Really.
We'll find out, but nice. Somehow it worked out. We have a pocket scout and the roaming scout being awarded at the same time. Wait, so how many votes that is to tie? How many votes do they have?
They have 172 votes each.
That's
Wow,
crazy.
That's really close.
It's actually nuts.
Did it happen before?
No, this is the first time we ever had a tie in the polls.
Oh, that's
Unbelievable.
Nice.
They're going to have to do like a 1v1 MG match now. There's no way
yeah, but
around it.
on heavy, not on scout.
Obviously.
Heavy fist
Yeah, that
fight
seems
inside the
really
award.
unfair for Credu.
That's true. He's like a heavy man. We all know this. Anyway, let's move on to Roamer of the season. And we actually have 4 players here nominated. So we have Korvac from Faint Gaming. We have Asunis from Aura Electro. We have Starkey from 7. And we have Drac from Ascent EU. So we had 4 there, but not 4 in the other one. It's weird stuff. But not
It
dwelling
happened
on
if
that.
the nominations were the same. If there was like a tie in nominations for the players, I put an additional one in.
I see. All right.
Well, I look at chat and I see Midnight Mick saying he voted for Starkey. That's really, really cruel.
Is that the truth, though?
Well, would he ever lie?
I don't know. But I like the fact that Drac, Starkey, and Korvac have been around forever in the best roamer of the season, so it's pretty okay to see them. But I like that Azunis is there as well. Like that means that people in Prem acknowledge the fact that he's actually a really good player, and I think he's been a bit overlooked when people think about best soldiers in Prem. And I'm really glad that Azunis made his way up here. I doubt he's going to win it because I think he lacks recognition throughout, in the public, in the viewership. I'm really glad that he's made it this far. Actually, I think he was there last season as well in the awards, if I'm not mistaken. So it's cool to see that he's still up there.
If I can give anyone an advice, that is watch Aura Electro and then watch as soon as on the mid fight. It's so much fun because he always have a ton of really cool jumps. Right? Like on Grano, he is always on the opponent's lamp, and he has jumps like that on basically every map. So you can tell he puts in a lot of thought into his roamer play, and it just really shines on mid fights in particular. But in general, yeah, he's very good as well. Although, this is a very difficult one for me to really judge. Korvac has been an absolute beast this season, and that's been a thing for a while. And I have never been very high on Drac. I always kind of figured he was overrated, but to see him, yeah, I know. I was just never that impressed with him, and he was actually really good this season. So, I'm glad to see that I was actually wrong. But I have a feeling that Starkey might just be the best roamer. So he just goes from medic to scout to roamer. Doesn't matter. He's just the best at it.
I would have to agree with what Ombrack said earlier. Azunis plays a bit different roamer than the others, not by a huge amount, but he plays the more traditional aggressive roamer kind of style. He is the one doing sacks all the time. Most teams mostly change to pockets doing a lot of the work in terms of stamemates. Azunis takes a lot of that responsibility. He has that experience with Nevo for years where they played together, so him on the flank is just a great asset. But competition for roamer is really high. Drag, Stark, and Korvac all have just a lot going for them. I pick Korvac personally. I don't know about anybody else. We haven't talked about him too much, but he's just really, really good and made just huge plays all the time for Feint.
I had to with Korvac because I was threatened. The thing with Korvac is I think this season he had to play both pocket and roamer at some point because they swapped around with Amarok. but I think people mostly see him as a roamer anyway, because I think when he plays pocket, he's like the most roaming pocket you've ever seen, and he always goes for the. I think the neat thing about Korvac is, like, it's pretty much the same about all these players, but he really doesn't care about his ratio. Doesn't care about having a lot of kills. He just goes in for the plays a lot of the times, and the thing that really matters when you try to get on awards is I think his plays are really spectacular, and the way he plays is really entertaining as well. So I think that gives a boost to your votes, I guess, in the polls. But in the end, he hasn't won anything this season, and it's pretty hard to compete with Draken Starkey because they have that. I mean, they are Draken Starkey.
Also, I have nicely nicknamed the way Korvac approaches a lot of mid-fights, especially in Badlands and Gallywatch, as the Korvac, which is like he always, no, not always, but like majoritively goes really fast on the mids and immediately tries to pressure the demo, if not just kill him outright alone. Oftentimes you see it, especially in Galley with the Scout, he often does it like all on himself, which is why it's like a bit different than anybody else. So, when I'm casting a Feint game this season, and that probably came through a few times.
But Yohn, as a demo, you have roamer on your head a lot of the times. Who's the most annoying one?
Azunas can piss me off sometimes. Not gonna lie. Azunas. They all good, and they all annoy me in different ways. They all play well. Sometimes they all have these weird nice bombs now and again.
Azunas and Ombrack, they go for the double bombs on like every mid, right?
Yeah, there's one roamer. Let me think of a roamer that comes to mind he's always on my case. Samsky can be quite a thorn in my buttocks if he's on roamer and I'm on demo. He's got me rad sometimes, but all roamers are annoying because they all just jump the demo. That's all they do. So,
but you have to pick one.
Okay.
And you can't pick Samsky because he's not here.
Also, he's probably off-classing Sniper right now.
Okay, callback.
Well, I agree, but what is the result? That's what we all want to know.
The result. Let's jump into it. On the 4th place, we have Azunas. 3rd place, we have Korvac.
No.
So it ends up being between Starkey and Drac. What a surprise.
Yeah, you called this on, right?
And the winner of Roamer of the Season is Starkey.
Starkey.
A whopping 40%.
Oh my god.
He's been begging to play Roamer for like 10 seasons now, hasn't he?
He really has, yeah.
Yeah.
And then somehow he got to do it at LAN too.
Somehow.
I want to say I don't think we're really surprised to see Starkey wins, because most of the times when you play in 7, you're bound to win the awards. This is pretty much what happens to you. And I remember casting the game 7 against Swift, where on product where Starkey did so much work with Captain, jumping behind an all. So, but I don't. Maybe it's because he doesn't play as flashy as the other roamer, and maybe that's why I wouldn't. Like, I don't think about him as the best roamer of that season. But I mean, when you play in 7, you're bound to be a good player. So maybe that's why he won. Or he has that legacy as well going behind him. A lot of factors, but
I'm trying to think. The last time you played Roma, was that in season 16? Like when we played Metalworks and stuff? It's been a while.
Might as well be, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be well before my time.
Yeah, it's been a long time ago, but he was really good then, and I had no idea. Like, so I always originally thought of him as a soldier, as a roamer in particular. So it's kind of interesting to see him return to it and just immediately win roamer of the season. It kind of figures, right? But he also, of course, has a pocket soldier duo that's also a high favorite. So we have pocket of the season, and in this one we have Captain from 7. We have Polygon from Swift, and we have Silentus from Ascent EU. That's 3 big boys here. But I would definitely say that Polygon is the the underdog in that scenario. But Polygon has been around for a while. He's always been really good. He has like surprisingly good DM. But I do think both Silentus and Captain are better. And I'm pretty sure Captain is just the best. I don't know if anyone has any dissenting opinions.
Well, I'll go first then. I think the fact that Polygon we'll say again, the Prem players nominated the players who are in the polls. So it's not like if the player is in the poll, it means that he's been acknowledged as a good player by the other Prem players. And I feel like if Polygon made it in the top 3, despite Swift having a really shaky season, and I mean, it really says a lot about how consistent he is as a player, I believe. But yeah, as Vito mentioned, I think as good as Polygon can be, is still below both Captain and Silentes. The one thing to mention about Silentes is that by the end of the season, he picked up the main call from AMS, because AMS wouldn't or couldn't, I don't really know how it was, but Silentes had to main call more. So he was one of the reasons why Ascent made it through the finals and such things. So he has to get recognition for that. And Captain is Captain. I mean, he's completely nuts. So I think Captain's gonna take it, but I don't know. I feel like, again, when you think about Seven, you have to think about how they have to basically learn to play together again. And Captain has played with them for such a long time that it's really important to have a player who knows what to do, even though you don't tell him what to do. And I think Captain is one of those players who is really able to do well on his own.
He did have a season off, though, worth noting. So actually, it was a bit of a comeback tour, right?
True. That's correct. Yeah, he has a season off, and I remember him hitting crazy air shots still this season. So, you don't really lose anything. You maybe even gain when you take a break. I don't know. But yeah, I think Captain's should I don't know, but he's gonna win it, I think. But Silentes is really, really up there, and it's worth noting that all these players have won Prem before at some point.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the thing with like Polygon being acknowledged, and I remember like at the final day after Grand Finals, I-63, a mildly drunk Cadus and a pretty drunk Polygon talked a little bit, and Cadus praised him a lot, and due to him being drunk, I would say that Polygon was really genuinely happy about that. So it should mean a lot for him to like make strides upwards slowly but surely, and like become one of the most like Fiat pocket soldiers in Europe right now. So he's getting there slowly but surely. Yeah, but Captain and Silentes, like you said, are just players we've seen around for so much longer now. In comparison, it's hard to just like immediately make that jump like past them, or at least on the same level right away. And it's a hard choice. I don't even know if I have a favorite between the two, to be honest.
All right, Gemm and Yohn, as fellow Brits, you've got to sell us on Polygon and Silentes. Why are they better than Captain?
They're not.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
You suck at this.
Yeah. Captain was just really solid the entire season, and he had some great players, great players. He felt like he had everything. I don't know what more he could have done.
Samsky's better than Captain, but not Polygon Silentes.
Well, what is this Samsky propaganda here today?
It's not propaganda when it's truth.
Hot take right here. Actually, I think we said Captain. I want to give it to Silentes because I think as a player, he had more impact within his team than Captain did. Because Captain has been surrounded by really, really talented players. And I mean Silentes too, but I think Silentes had a little more impact. Like, he had more importance within his team than Captain, maybe, I think. By a slight.
Still apparently started rain calling prior to the season. So AMS was doing this at the start, and then still took over at some point. Yeah. Which does count for something.
Maybe as a medic main who used to main call, that's why I want to give more credit to people who main call. But yeah, actually, I think I voted Silentes actually. And
Kudo says Polygon had to play with Ombrack, therefore he's better than both of them. And I can't disagree.
Okay, I see how it is. So Samsky gets the praise. I don't. What is this? Is it an alternate reality of?
Well, let's hear the actual reality from the man himself, Aoshi. Who won?
Okay. This is actually the poll which has where the winner has the largest percentage. So on third place here we have Polygon, and on first place with 69.89%.
Nice.
We have Captain returning again. This is now his 7th one award as Pocket of the.
I think the percentage difference is way higher than the actual difference between the two players. I mean, you said 67%, 69. Oh, that's a bit rough on cylinders, I think. But Captain is Captain. He has the name, he has the legacy.
He has the jumper main votes on his side.
And he also has a bunch of skill to back it up. So let's move on to Demo Man of the season, because let's not dwell on that one anymore. So in Demo Man of the season, we have Elacor from Ascend EU, we have Domo from 7, and we have Eames from Aura Electro. So Yohn, you're a Demo Man. What's your take on this?
Class are pretty bad. It's not very good, not very fun to play. But Laurie should get it 100%, and that's what I have to say. Elacor and Domo, old news.
A bigger Power, to be honest. He kind of got cooked out of playoffs a little bit, didn't he? Because Feint lost to Swift, and that gave Swift the points to take over Electro. But Eames ended up basically murking for Ali in Feint for the rest of the playoffs and did pretty well. Feint lost to Swift in 1 week with Ali, and then the next week Eames played and they beat them. So yeah, Eames is better than Ali.
And that game, the final game before playoffs, was a bit of a mess as well, because he almost played for Feint to begin with that game, but then last minute didn't, ended up casting, seeing his team get dropped out of playoffs from the spectator.
Yeah, my fault.
Have you ever heard a man die on air? Go watch that.
That's an interesting poll, I think, because all of these players are really different. I believe, like Eames, like Elacor is a DM god. There's no among the three. I think Elacor is the one with the best DM with the flashiest plays. That's not a discussion to have, I believe. But Domo had to fill in a really tight spot. He had to sub in for Cadus, and I think people will never realize how big that is to basically take the spot of the most important player the games I've ever had. So and Domo had to do that, and I think he did it pretty well. I remember again Talash explaining how at the beginning of the season and even throughout the season before the playoffs, 7 basically threw Domo under the bus by not doing any map talks or really scarcely, and so Domo basically had to adapt on a lot of very low informations, and he did that really well. And Eames is also a really unique player because basically Eames is Aura Electro. He's made that team and he's shaped it, and it's really hard to argue now that Aura Electro is it's a team you have to deal with all the time. I remember when they played against 7, it was a really close game, and Eames was a big reason for that because he was the one main calling, and he's really able in that regard. And then Jem mentioned how he murked for Feint during the playoffs and basically made them a better team. So I think on paper it looks really shifted towards Elacor, I think. But in reality, it's really close because the 3 players have really different strengths, I think.
Yeah, I'd value the strengths of Eames, I think, a bit more than the others personally, but that's just my opinion. I can perfectly see why any of the other 2 would be voted, and like you said, it should be fairly close in theory. In fact, I mean, we said that about Pocket as well, and it ended up not being anything like that. So, yeah. And you said Elacor is the DM beast. That's true. Personally, I think he relies a bit too much on his pipes. If you look at the damage stats on him compared to any other demo man whenever they play, it just really annoys me how much more damage comes from pipes than anything else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's completely retarded. That's not. There's no debate on that.
The point out is that Domo never actually officially joined 7. Originally he was only going to play for 2 weeks. Then 2 weeks went into 4 weeks. And then suddenly the entire season, and then playoffs again. So throughout the season, he was never actually on the roster page, on the ETF2L profile, and there was never an article about it. But yeah, they never thought he would actually be the main demo for that season. So does he lose by default then? Because he's not technically a player.
Maybe actually, we should take that into account.
I still think Elacor is going to win this just because like the DM pulls him so far above everyone else before you can taking all the other things into consideration. So I think he's the gorilla in the room and gorilla going to smash. But let's hear it, Aoshi. Who's gonna? What's the result here?
On third place, we have Eames.
What the fuck?
And then between Elacor and Domo, the winner for Demo Man of the season is Elacor with 62%.
Oh, mate.
That's pretty high as well.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
Yeah.
Also, all 3 times that Elacor has been in the polls, he's like on a perfect winning streak at the moment. So
and the other nice statistic is that every time Elacor was in the finals, he lost. So I think he would happily trade an award for a win.
How many times were you on the same team at that time?
2 times. But then he managed to lose without me, so he's a big boy.
He proves it's all his own fault. I see how it is.
But it's worth mentioning that he's taking that with him because he's not going to play next season, so it's a nice thing to leave on, like to get the award and then leave the others take over.
And it's going to leave a hole for sure. But let's move on to Medic of the Season, where we have 3 other big boys, and they're all British. So we have Connor from Ascent, we have Raymond from Seven, and then Seeds from Fate. And of course, Connor stepped in for Nursey, like halfway through the season, maybe a little bit earlier than that. Yeah, earlier than halfway through. So that's interesting.
After he assassinated his own team, which eventually also caused Yohn's team to die. So it's not a big conspiracy here.
Yeah, I've just forgotten that. Yep.
So really, Connor is behind it all. He's the mastermind of TF2L.
Hopefully he'll win. He deserves it.
So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen here. So it's going to go down between, like obviously between Connor and Raymond because they're on the 2 best teams, but actually the best player is Seeds. Seeds always plays extremely well. Like his heals per minute is always like way higher than everyone. He's extremely good at getting out alive, and he just plays really, really smart. I've never watched Seeds and just like slap my own forehead because I was like, oh, what's this guy doing? Whereas that happens sometimes with Raymond and Connor and basically every other medic, but Seeds just always extremely good to watch, and he just makes so many good decisions and has good movement as well.
Connor is the only one brave enough to solo check River, so he's going to get a win for that. He's the only one brave enough. He's the only one brave enough, so he deserves it.
Well, I'm going to counterpart what Beta said about Siege. Like, no, again, Siege is a really good player, and it's going to come across as a lot of hate towards him, but I don't. But so yes, Seeds has always more heals than the other medics, but that's because he tanks his players well less than the other medics. So sometimes when his demo will walk into the choke, he won't be buffed because he was hitting everyone else. So on logs, it looks really good, but I think that's one of the best examples where logs don't really tell the whole story. And Seeds is sometimes being called a beta because he leaves really early, and sometimes if he would come into a fight, his team would win rather than losing because Seeds would pump up more heals. But these 2 things are really minor, and it's not that big of a deal, I guess. But yeah, that's just my take on Seeds. He's a really good player, but he's not. He has some lacks in his playstyle.
It depends on how the team around that plays, I guess, like how passive they want to play. Feint was really passive at times, so it makes a lot of sense, the early leaving part at least. That works with the team more so than it would have worked with a team like Ascent, who definitely played a lot more aggressive. But Connor, in comparison, fits in a lot more.
Yeah, I think Condor fits really well for Ascent because he plays a lot like Nursey and he has really good mechanics, but the thing with Condog is, I think because as a medmate, I feel like I have to criticize players instead of praising them. I'm sorry if I'm being too harsh, but Condog plays really risky sometimes. Some people, I heard Pappy calling him a little troll yesterday, so maybe there's some part of truth here. But I think him and Ams are a really good fit because Condog is not afraid to just solo one guy into that Uber and go straight forward, and sometimes it works because Amps is hitting everything. But if we look at the medic of the season, I think Raymond is probably the best of the three because Raymond could fit in any team. Like Conduct is really good for aggressive teams, but I don't think he would be that good for Feint, for example. And Stage is really good for passive like South because he played for 7 and for Feint, but I doubt he would be that good for Ascent. Whereas Raymond would probably be good for either these two teams, and he can play passive. He can play he played really well for all 7 when they were slower than now, and he plays really well for actual 7 where they are more aggressive than people give them credit for. So I don't know. I feel like Raymond should take it, in my opinion. I think it's pretty easy to highlight both Conduct and C's mistakes when they play, and it's harder, at least for me, to tell when Raymond does a bad play.
Well, let's see who got it in the end. Let's get to the results.
Okay. I'm gonna premise this with, it seems like John constantly is jinxing people, because he vouched for, what was it? He vouched for Eames in the last vote, and he vouched for Connor in this vote, and in third place we have Connor.
Oh, what the fuck? Oh.
Christian stream, please.
I can't believe Yohn just robbed Connor of his award.
Yeah.
Right, get over it.
Okay, so in third place we have Connor, and then between Seeds and Raymond. On the first place with 51.51%, we have Raymond taking the prize.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes it helps to be the golden middle road. You know, Seeds is his passive gets out alive a lot, and Connor's the big risk taker that he's known for dropping Ubers, but that's only because he looks at and takes a lot of risk, and he really saves his Uber in a lot of situations where a lot of other medics wouldn't. But yeah, I guess we just have the golden middle road there with Raymond. So, yeah. Any other comments on this result?
As for the vast majority of 7, Raymond took a break last season. So as for captain, that's a comeback for him, and that's a comeback straight to the first place, I guess.
All right, so let's move on to off class of the season, and this is kind of deja vu, I'd say, a little bit, because it's all the same people that are in Scout of the season. That's kind of interesting to me, that we have Tiger, Credo, and Palas again in off class of the season and Scout of the season.
Rip Amps is Spy too.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Spies are just getting shafted here.
Well, I mean, they've always have, because off class of the season has pretty much always been sniper of the season. I remember Flippy winning a lot of awards for off class of the season, basically because he was the best sniper in the game at the time. And I think this is pretty much what's been happening all the time. I remember Mr. Epic won that same award as well because of his sniping ability on product and such. And yeah, that's no wonder to see these 3 again. Again, we could have seen Amps because he can play Spy and Sniper. And I don't know, when do we have NG of the season and stuff like that? Because we
had, but no plan, that was still a thing.
Because we need to think about how important it is to have a heavy or a pyro or an NG when you hold your last. And
there was also the time Olga played pyro, so that happened.
I think we're gonna
can't forget about that.
Like shove it in after all the awards, and then we're going to talk about what other awards would we like to see or how would we like to change. I think we're just going to make that its own topic. So let's just
for the people we have here, I think it's easy to say that Credo is the favorite here. He plays the most sniper, the team relies on him the most, the way they play around him with sniper. Tiger and Flash still played quite a bit when necessary, but in comparison much lesser than Credo, so you always get to see more of Credo, and that always makes a big difference in this award alone.
And I think, so one people that's probably been forgotten here is Kuno, because he's a really good sniper, but I don't think he played that much sniper this season. I have a hard time remembering Talash playing sniper this season as well, like doing for really good shots. He probably has, but I don't really remember. And I remember Tiger, the only time I remember Tiger playing sniper was against Aura Electro during the Golden Cap, where he basically won the Golden Cap of 7 by hitting 3 headshots in a row.
I have a memory of Flash playing Tiger, but it was sadly a scrim and not an official, and it was against Ascent 2 on Snake. It was like 50% of the game was on Ascent's last 7 failed to push, like the entire time, but every time it went back to mid, Flash was just sniping in forward spawn. I headshot Connor like 3 times that game in the same situation, and they went straight back to last stalemate for the rest of it. So he still got it, but like I said, they just rely on it much less these days on 7.
Yeah, I think 7 is really happy to play with the cookie because I know when they can, except when they're last, where they have Thagon Paro or Thalash on engine, stuff like that. Whereas Credo is a bit more consistent and trigger happy with the sniper. I believe he plays it more often than the 2 other players. And again, we've mentioned how he basically won product by himself for Ascent against 7 during the finals. So yeah, I think Credo takes it because he's a great player and also a bit by default.
Got it.
Okay, let's jump into off-classer of the season. On 3rd place, we have Tiger. And with 62.20%, we have Credo taking home the off-classer of the season.
Yes.
So the Yohn curse is lifted now? Is that how it works?
Exactly. No, I voted for Credo.
Yeah.
But he won it.
The curse is lifted. Yeah, this is
Okay.
no surprise.
Oh, sorry, I get you. Yes, Credo. Yeah.
A fun thing that I do want to highlight with it, just to show how much props Credo even gets from other Prem players. From the 25 people that nominated other Prem players, 17 voted on Credo for off-classer.
Well, it just goes to show how good he is and how little the other players have of class. And what we've mentioned, Credo.
And he has the heavy too, if necessary.
Yeah, I think Credo is the best heavy in the game, actually. Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. I'm a little bit surprised that Falas got more votes than Tiger, because Tiger's been off-classing a lot more than Falas this season. Like, there's a reason why Falas won Scout in the season. That's because he's been playing a ton of Scout, like even on a lot of other maps. And Tiger had that huge play on Gully Wash, right, on Sniper, and he will also sometimes go Spy and stuff. So it just seems more obvious to me. But oh well. Moving on, I guess. So we do have some another nice little category here. That's Premier Debut of the season. And in that, we have Kunu from Feint Gaming, we have Unable from Werther's Listes Dorf, and Amarok from Feint Gaming as well. So Feint Gaming bringing in the new blood there. And it's been a lot of impressive plays as well.
Yeah, after LAN, it was easy to forget that Kunu and Amarok haven't been playing Prem before the season, technically, even though they clearly wanted to this last season already, but then they signed up too late, so that didn't happen in the end with Feint. But it just didn't feel like they haven't been playing Prem before, which I guess is just, props to how good they actually played. For Unable, it was a big surprise. He just came straight out of Div 1 as well and just played really, really well with Shocky together.
I think for most people, this is a no-brainer, and most people would say Kunu is the best best Prem debut of the season, not of Classer.
Really?
But I think Amarok is one of the players that can get easily overlooked. And I think he did a really good job this season. I still think Kunu is going to win this, but I think it's important to highlight how good Amarok was in a team that basically was without a captain for vast majority of the season. Vast majority, yeah, let's put it that way. And I think he did a really good job. Again, we mentioned that for Coreback, but Amarok had to swap around between Pocket and Roamer as well, so he had to adapt a lot of the times. And I think he did that really well. Amarok is a really keen player. He's really he wants to get better at the game, and I think he should be praised for that. As for Enabled, I haven't seen much of the Germans, so I can't really talk about him, but I don't think he's, like, regardless of how good he is, I don't think he really measure up to both Kunu and Amarok.
I think Amarok played really well this season. Like, if when I was spectating Feint, I would always just go to Amarok as a default guy, because he would just be almost guaranteed just to hit some crazy rocket. Some of the top players, or some of the newer players at Prem that are successful, they tend to just be DM donkeys in a way. But Amarok didn't seem like that. He seemed to have a really good understanding of what he was supposed to be doing, and he seemed to be doing it most of the time. So
he's got a cool hat as well.
Good shots, that's for sure.
Cool hat as well, yeah.
And that is the most important skill to have in Team Fortress 2, is to just hit crazy shots, right? If you're on a 3K, you just go forward, man. It doesn't matter if you need to go back and get the point. No. You're just going forward and getting that 5K, baby. That's what you need to do.
It lays the groundwork for filling in the other stuff later, I guess.
Plus, having a scout getting best Premiership debut is getting a bit old, so it's nice to see maybe Soldier's gonna take it. But I don't know. I think Amarok is. Well, I'm glad that people share my opinion, thinking that he's actually a really good player and a bit old. But I think when you look at the people who vote, like the viewership, I think Kunu has a bit more. I don't know. He's a bit more known, I believe, than Amarok maybe.
It's just easy to notice a sniper. I mean, because when you play sniper, all the focus is on you. So that just automatically helps. And so if you're a good sniper, it gets noticed because how can you not notice, right? Whereas if you're a good soldier and you jump in and make a lot of space and hit some good rockets, that can very easily be missed. So, yeah. I would guess that Kuhn is going to win as well, but I actually think Amarok deserves it. And, yeah. But let's
Go
hear
Amarok.
Yeah.
Also, go Kuhn as well.
I'm gonna just be the one guy that she's not unable, and I guess have to have the German here. But I was really impressed with him. Like, obviously the Germans had a bit of a rough start to the season, but towards the end, and specifically the 7 game as well, him and Shocky had
Him and
seven
Shocky.
scouts really, really well.
Oh, okay.
We lost you for a bit there.
Okay, let's jump into on third place. We have enabled from Where das Licht is doof. I love the team name, to be honest. And then,
Yeah, if you just say it out loud, it's fine. As long as you didn't read it, you're good.
On German, you're probably fine.
And then on first place, we have Kuno with 63.43%, taking it quite convincingly.
Not a surprise, but again, I think the percentage difference is wider than it should be in my eyes.
Kuhn, yay. He's pretty good.
But in the end, he deserves it. Amarok is good, but Kunu is that guy that's always gets first picked in the parks nowadays. That he's been proven himself. He's made a name for himself.
Sounds like you're just jealous.
It's just half cool, but with DM.
Well, speaking of half cool with DM, we have a Best Player of the Season award, and just a reminder that the winner of this will get a fancy hat from KritzKast. And we do have, once again, we have 4 nominees here. So we have Kredu from Ascendu, we have Tiger from 7, we have Captain from 7, and we have Falas from 7. But which one will be the Best Player of the Season? So who's the carrying force in 7, I guess, is one half of this question.
Talash.
Why?
Because we've talked it throughout this evening, but Talash was the one picking up the pieces when Cadis left and picking up the main core when someone had to do it. So he basically had to adapt. So I think he was the driving force for 7 throughout the whole season, like the cornerstone for that team. And I'm surprised not to see so best player of the season isn't about being the best at your class. It's about being one of the players who shaped the season the most. Actually, I think that's what it is. That's in my eyes. And again, I'm really surprised not to see Amst here, because if 7 had competition this season, it's because Amst made that team. Amst was the one who gathered around all these really good players to make a team to try to compete with 7. And if it was up to me, but it's not, but if it was up to me, it would be a duel between Amst and Talash. So basically between the 2 driving forces of these 2 top teams. And but Amst, once again, is not here because for reasons, I don't know why. And but yeah, in my eyes, it would be either between Talash and Amst, and Talash would take it by a really short margin. But in the end, Amst is not here, so Talash should take it for me.
Yohn, do you agree with that statement?
Just go captain. He hit
Why?
He hit a few good air shots. I think there was one on Armor and Snake Water. I saw that and I thought, yeah, he'll get it. It's fine. Scout's easy class when you know how to play it. Like, it's just, I mean, you could say that about every class. But
I think it's good to have Yohn's opinion here because he probably reflects what most of viewers voted for anyway.
I just don't want a scout to be a player of the season. That's all I want.
Switch to be captain. So one thing, like, I remember, I think it was 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons ago, Elakor and Kadus were competing for best demo of the season, and Elakor got it. But ultimately, Kadus was the one who got player of the season, even though Elakor was in the run as well. And I think that's a really good example that being the best at your class doesn't ultimately mean that you're the player of the season, because there's so much more than just being good at what you're doing as a player, as a class. And I think that's why Thala should win it, because I think he had more impact as a player, not as a scout, but as a player during that season than anyone else. And this is where he's making a difference, I think. Like, Credo is a really good player, but he's really good individually. Is he good as a part of a team? Like, is he a driving force for his team? I don't think so. I think it's the same for Tiger. And that's I think that the Cadus thing that happened 2 seasons ago is a really good example of what a player of the season should be. He should be the best DM player or something. It should be the most important player.
At the end of the day, this is the vote for the people and not the vote of Ombrack. So let's see what the people said, Aoshi.
It should be my vote.
Debatable.
Okay, let's jump into it. On 4th place, we have Talash.
What?
Wow, what?
Yes!
I can't believe Yohn is this right.
I love it. Good start.
Stark is not here, but I doubt he's going to take it.
Who's third?
3rd place, we have Creative.
Yes! Come on, Captain, come on.
And on 1st place, with 33% of the votes, we have Captain.
Yes!
Wow!
Beating out all the other scouts.
God damn it, I bloody hate scouts, thank God. Okay, I'm happy.
Let that be a lesson to all you kids out there. If you want to be the best player of the season, switch away from the filthy scout class and go soldier. There you go. And get some
also hit an air shot that Yohn sees, and that's all that matters in the end.
I'm happy.
Like, I'm pretty sure he nailed it. That's just how he won it, right? He just hit a crazy air shot. Got him.
Good.
So, good job, Amarok. You gave it away.
Okay.
I can't believe Yohn got the last 2 so right, and then he still robbed Connor before that.
Yeah. Like, I can't believe Falas was 4th as well. Like, he was my...
Yeah, that's actually really surprising to me.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, what?
Oh, well. All right, let's move on to the next little thing where we talk about what awards would we like to see here? What would we do differently? So I noted some different things, right? So we were talking about, should there be like a pocket or a roaming scout? Should there be like a utility and a sniper award? And maybe something I would like to see is like, who's the most improved player, right? Because there's a lot of players that have improved a lot, but they're still not the best at the game, right? And I would like to see those guys just recognized for their thing. So I will mention, for instance, like someone like Crafty, who I thought just had a really good season, but like he's not the best scout in the game, but like he really improved and he's really good now.
Yeah, I was really happy with him. Oh no, you gone, sorry.
Oh, thank you. Airshot of the season. That's what we need. We do need airshot of the season.
I've been thinking about doing the beta awards where I just like take over and just do awards for all the like the biggest airshot, the best kill streak, the most clutch moment. That like things people care about, not these things.
I approve of that, yeah. That
so we need airshot of the season and we need drop of the season. And then most clutch moment of the season.
But we need to like all present them with clips, and then somebody has to do like, the best Watch Mojo impression they can to announce everything.
Yeah, I will do that next season. I actually did do that last season. I just wasn't happy with how it looked, so I just scrapped it. But I can do it. I can do it for next season.
If we really care about our community, we will do it.
Yeah.
We will do it.
I think what you mentioned, Peter, is interesting, is the most improved player, but I think it's hard, like it's probably easier for the players in Prem to decide who that is rather than for the viewership, because as a viewer you only tune in for the officials, like for the cast we have, whereas the most improved player is something that goes along the scrims and stuff like that. So I think it's a bit tough for the people who watch to like if you just watch the games, it's really hard to tell who was the most improved. I think, but I like we had 2 scouts of the season this season, but I don't think that we got lucky. I think we got lucky, and this isn't how we should work. But I've been asking for that for a long time, so I think people up above know about this.
All right. Is there no other comments on what kind of awards we'd like to see?
Somebody mentioned like separating sniper from off class, but I think that's not the greatest idea to do because at the end of the day, most other off classes are like very utilitarian in how they're used, mostly on last to hold, and you're not going to do much flashy stuff most of the time. You can have like a weird sentry spot or just like be tanked on heavy like severely, maybe hit a clutch like reflect on pyro, but those are like such rare things, and it's just the fact that sniper is the one dominating class for off class of the season is just because it's so much more useful in so many more situations. So separating that would be like weird to make a separate category only for something that like barely ever happens anyway.
What about producer of the season? You know, now that I produce,
you just want more awards, don't you?
Yeah, yes, that's what's important here.
It's literally who did the most.
I think producer again is really, it's a bit tougher for the people who vote ultimately because it's pretty hard to to value who's.
No, I'm thinking like
how many fuck-ups do you remember basically?
Gemm does like replays and stuff, and also you can be good at the spectating, right? Like it's hard to know who to spectate and do that properly.
Yeah, but
on that,
go ahead.
On that topic of producer of the season, I would like what comes to mind would be writer of the season for the TF2 articles, but I would be scared that Aoshi and his stupid puns would win, so I'm probably not gonna mention it ever again.
It would win.
About the producer thing, I think like it's easier to remember who casted a game because we are heard by the audience, so it's a bit easier to remember about us. Whereas the producer is being named at the beginning of the stream and at the end, but when the game happens, you don't really know who produces unless you type caster production in the chat. So I think it's harder to remember who was producing the game. You can think, oh yeah, I remember those replays was really nice, but you don't really remember who it was who made them because
just look at chat.
Don't get as many likes as they should get.
I look at chat and I see Kunu say that like you can tell who's using too much cheat sheet or too little, and I think that's like the most only thing that you can really notice because at the end of the day, the producer should make like the greatest effort to like not stand out, if that makes sense. Like you just want the game to be the thing on the focus and not that you're doing anything specifically.
You want it to look natural and like you can pull the cheat feed and get like all the super cool headshots or most of them at least, but like it still wouldn't be an enjoyable watch because you would see the producer switch a player in a good position and be like, oh good, they're going to get it. You know what's going to happen before it even happens. So yeah, it's a difficult thing to judge because like there's some subtleties that maybe some voters wouldn't really like realize.
If anything, we should have the opposite, the best off-camera moment of the season. Where the casters just like scream out of their mind and it's not on screen.
Yeah. All right. Let's have a.
Like we've talked about additional awards. Is there any chance that we would get some of them, Aoshi? Like, is there discussions about getting more awards or to change them around?
It's always up for discussion, but there's nothing concrete at this point in time.
So a political answer.
I'm not going to make any promises that I'm not going to follow up on, you know?
That's why he's the best admin. He never gives a shit.
How about ETF2L admin of the season and whoever finishes last gets cut from the team?
Yeah. I like
no, that wouldn't work. It's an interesting award, but no, that wouldn't work.
All right, let's see all the awards up on the screen at the same time, just so we can get an overlook of who won all the things. All right, so we see for the first time ever, right? We had the tie, and then we have a lot of British people in here. Is it actually? No, Britain didn't even win the majority of the awards. Man,
thank God.
Well,
no, we have 6 players in the best team of the season, so that's an improvement.
It's true. Oh, the nominations. All right. Sorry, it's very small on my screen. All right, there we go. So yeah, no surprise that the top 2 teams getting a ton of nominations. And,
well, I mean, you wouldn't be getting there without good players, so that makes sense, obviously.
There's only one from Swift. I don't know if that's surprising, but like you're getting the same.
Polygon.
Yeah, there's Polygon.
Swift was just like the perfect like middle ground team this season. Like they were just like good. Like without it having any other connotation, positive or negative, they were just good. Like they make sense in the middle of the table.
To watch.
Yeah, that as well. And with 2 dead teams, it's obviously gonna be a bit more spread thin between every other team.
Yeah. All right. Let's just keep this train moving. So I think what we're gonna do now is talk about the upcoming season and LAN. So let's start with talking about Copenhagen LANs. I don't know about who's trying to go in there. Oh wait, there's another neat one.
Super going.
Oh, it's still going. Man, Mike's still up there. And I'm actually on the list. Oh boy.
Wow.
I never thought this was going to be a thing. New totals.
Will Mike ever be not first ever one time? I don't know.
He's going to come back if that's not the case. But Cadis actually has a pretty good opportunity to catch him, you know? He just keep playing.
Yeah. Has to keep his wrist intact.
Yeah.
Wait, Beta, are you in this Premiership award total even though you never played a single Prem game?
No, I played Prem. I played 2 seasons of Prem.
Okay.
I'm medic.
Very successful too.
I think what I'm taking away from this is that I have a real opportunity to actually catch Admirable in casting season. He got 7. Goddamn.
Yeah,
He was so good.
all of them almost being caster of the season for Admirable.
Well, does this account for Highlander too? Because then Admirable might have Highlander medals.
Oh yeah, otherwise CJ would. I'm pretty sure he has like
that
14
would
as well.
probably be that.
Crazy.
Mm.
Because he wins Medic of the season and Cast of the season, so he's just raking it in. Yep, moving on to Copenhagen games. Who here is actually going to show up to that?
Yes, I'm going. Of course, I'm going.
Me too.
I am too.
Yes.
Should. You never know what's happening.
Yeah.
But it should be a really competitive LAN again. Like, we've had a really good season, and from what I've heard, a lot of the players that played that season are planning to attend Copenhagen. So regardless of who's, like, if all of them can go, it should be really exciting LAN because 7 won Prem, so they got 6 tickets for this, for Copenhagen games, because they were sponsors.
From Normal to Cadis.
True, correct. DuMmTm wants something that we'll never make use of. And then I think there's a Santi trying to come, even though Elako can't commit. I think Samzi has a team in the making as well, who's trying to attend. So it should be.
I think he only needs like 1 more player at the moment.
Yeah.
Like Chris left the other day, so they're looking for a Roma, and that's basically it. They had a team otherwise. So yeah, it should be a good LAN. I heard. Well, that's mostly exciting for me probably than anybody else that we try to improve what analysis work can be done between the matches. So that's something really fun that I might be doing. You know, like looking back at I-61 with what News was doing, like whatever News. Maybe we can get something like that.
There's a lot of cool things planned for the production side of Copenhagen games. There's a lot of people working on it at the moment, making new tech. Should be good.
Yeah, there's a lot of activity in the planning mumble. I plan to go as a caster this time around.
Well, the only question that most people probably care about compared to last year, except for me, is if there will be a bar this time at the event. That's what was happening last year.
Well, there was a bar, right?
Very legally bring alcohol into it.
Yeah, I swear there was a bar.
Coming. I think there was talks about Fro coming to Copenhagen. Is it going to be a thing? Will we see Benny in Denmark, or?
They're waiting for price pool to be announced, I believe.
Just want to see Side Guy.
Okay, so that could be even like bigger than what we are selling so far. It could be actually a little Insomnia in Copenhagen.
I mean, it makes sense that I would go to a new land if the NA land is just kind of dying. So
Yeah, there is this big hole, right? So there might be some Americans sitting around with extra pocket money because they didn't get to go to Rewind.
imagine
Why
not
not go
having
to
2
Europe?
lands.
Yeah. So
So-
I could definitely see it. And this year it should be a bigger venue as well, and Team Fortress 2 should have a bigger area. And also, I'm pretty sure I heard that so far the game that has had the most sign-up so far in the entire event is Team Fortress 2. So it's looking really good so far.
I just hope they have the hot dogs from last year. Those were great.
The hot dogs.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the land that could have Froyo, Ascend 7, new Samsung team, maybe Swift, and then other Prem teams around DuMmTm. So that's actually really competitive.
It's going to be a Lego team for sure, right? Like, it's in Denmark. Obviously, it's going to be a Lego team. It's just,
Yeah,
so-
Yohn I've seen in the ETF2L.
So
pages
we're
that you are
looking at
working on stuff as well for next season. Does that have any plans planned?
You say, me? Oh, right. Yeah, I got something cooking up. Yeah.
Possibly too.
With either that or with a couple of Lego players. I said too much. Sorry.
Lego bus. I need to pull out my old Lego bricks so I can build you a team profile pic.
So we're looking at the Prem level LAN and the bar in the venue. What's not to like?
Good.
Yeah, and it's more centrally located this time around, so you also get to see Copenhagen city a lot more than last time around. We were kind of out on the outskirts of Copenhagen, right? Whereas this time around, it's like downtown. That's kind of cool.
If my bus goes the same way it did last time, I just get out of the bus and I'm directly at the venue, basically.
I think there's a direct shuttle bus this time from centre to what it was called, the train yard thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, also you can just walk from like the train station that most people, right? Like, and so you can just walk
it's not that far.
It's like a kilometer.
I walked through half of Copenhagen last year from where my bus stopped, and that distance between where the bus is or where the train station is to where the venue is easily walkable. Like, no issue.
Oh yeah, remember me and Jem had a little night trip to Copenhagen as well. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, I was really tired that weekend. Just came back at like 3 a.m. every night. Or later.
I mean, for everybody that like isn't British, it's gonna be a much cheaper travel than it would be to Insomnia. So that's already like a lot of incentive to go to begin with.
Yeah, we lose. We're losing free movement in like March of 2019, and then the lines in it. So
also, it's a week after my birthday, so it functions as the late birthday party for me. So that. And this time I'm trying to actually like get something figured out so people can play Smash properly and don't have to like awkwardly look for people. Because that was really annoying at Insomnia to do. So I can actually play this time properly and not just twice. Maybe I figure out if I can bring a shitty laptop or something. I have one, but it's probably gonna melt if I turn it on.
So definitely people show up at Copenhagen. It should be a good one.
Absolutely. I'm not sure there's too much more to say about that. So I guess we'll just pivot over into next season and what the plans are there. And, it's when we talked to Aoshi, I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, it was something like late January. It was
like 26, 7, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I'm sure.
Is the weekend of the 20th, let's see here, 26th, 27th of January.
So last week of January.
The last weekend of January, yeah.
Cool. So there's still a month until that happens. So teams can be made and fold and remade and fold again and then sign up for a season after that. So, a lot of things can happen until then. But let's hear from you first, Yohn. I'm pretty sure you have a team cooked up for next season, right?
Well, it's in the oven right now. It's not ready.
I looked at the team, but like 2 people plus you.
If you look, you can just type in my name and see what comes up. And I've got a couple of players on my roster, but it's like it might not be the bus crew. It might be something else. But those two, Mr. Scouts, they are confirmed. And then the others I have in mind, but they're almost baked to perfection. We're not quite up.
That's already looking interesting with the bid you have already and with the caliber of play you're looking for. So that's going to be an interesting team for next season already. I'm excited. Like, we have so many good teams already looking to play next season. Like, the top of Prem is already looking really good.
So who's there? Tell us about it.
Interesting time. Well, I mean, we know Seven will play. We know Ascent will play. They just need a demo. We know Samsy Swift, the new old Swift, is coming back, which is, let me actually look up the roster real quickly. It's like Samsy, it's not Chris anymore, which used to be the thing. And with what Ombrack says, I believe it would be a cause of like land availability for him being not on the team anymore, I guess. So he couldn't make it then, I guess. You know, Lucas on Demoman, Seeds on Medic now from Faint over, and Square from Horror Electro, and Papi as well.
Ooh, that sounds good. I always look forward to watching Lucas on Demoman. He is, you know, DM Donkey number two with Elicor's number 1. It's only fitting if Elicor leaves that Lucas just comes in and just dunks on everyone on Demoman, because he hits everything. I swear to God. It's like DM-wise, he's just the best demo in the world. I don't care, man. He's so good. So yeah, that's already good. And then, of course, you will be going up against the glorious return of Cadus to 7, I assume. Right?
Yeah, he is going to play. That was the plan.
Ale might go back. Ale might join Ascent, since Domo can't go to LAN, and Ale is friends with them. So
does Ale want to play?
It's either Ale or Eames. Will be the Ascent demo. I can't think of.
I saw another like Div 1-ish, like top Div 1 level project where Ali was playing for. I don't remember all of the players on it, but he like played with that. So who knows? There's a lot of options.
Is Horror Electro dead? Like completely?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not sure. I saw them like,
maybe.
they definitely need people. Like that much is sure. But I've seen them trial some. I don't know how much of that's still an active process they're going through right now. What I've seen recently happening was like them plus like, and I mean with Faint confirmed that basically there's like people flying around on a high level that are ready for picking up basically. So not like there's nothing around that you could like replace your host with.
Ale played with Rivka and Garbage Joe.
Oh yes, that's it.
And then Nation, but he joined. He's now with me. So yeah, I'm a Striker and Alfie.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I want to know, we do know about the theorists that won Div 1. They'll be moving.
Yes, they're going to be
automatically.
Yeehaw and Af, yeah.
Dewey.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. They definitely need to calm down some of their aggression playstyle sometimes, but they have the potential to like get a few spaces higher than people would expect. They had like really decent results like over the course of the season in scrims against different teams, so there's potential there.
I have to say, I always really love the preseason when everything's kind of being made anew. That's always been the most exciting part of the season.
Who knows what happens to the old new Swift, aka Alba Smith Swift. Alba's not going to play that so much on Twitter. We play. Ooh, that's big words, Ombrack.
What do you mean used to be? I played it. Like it's gonna be pretty much the same team for LAN and next season. It should be.
Well, you need a scout.
We might have one already.
Ooh, any spoilers here?
Can you list the roster for us so everyone?
So Demoman is Mirai, Pocket is Polygon, Romer is Rising. Unfortunately, Scar are Ixie and someone. I don't know if I can say.
Wow.
And the medic is my
Kunu's the other scout, I know, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, guess he said anyway.
Well, I would have just looked at the logs right now anyways to find it out.
Yeah, if people were interested, they'd just be like, oh, who Ixie logs, oh, the other scout is...
Yeah, but it's called, like, preserving the mystery.
Well, Kunu's going to play with Polly. He told it with scrims and trials, like, I'm going to play with Polly, and I was like, I put two together, done. But, okay, sorry.
It's fine. Ombrack
fine.
preserved
It's
his
fine.
reputation, right? He didn't.
fine.
He didn't tell.
He didn't spoil it. I did.
Yeah, I have
Kudo
not.
even said in chat just that Ombrack.
Yeah, but I'd only said
Weapon is so.
They're cutting him. It's gonna be awkward.
Uh-oh. Anyway, it's alright, anyway.
Yeah. All right. I actually have a question. There's something about some new ETF2L medals. I don't know if you know more about that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there they are. Yeah, new and improved medals, looking a little bit fancier now. It's a different design from what was leaked a few months ago, which was looking a lot more like a Beyblade. I think I posted it in the Discord chat here. Try to get the link in the Twitch chat. What they used to look like. It's still similar enough, but looks much less Beyblade now, which is good. Not bad if you really like Beyblades, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like the design. It looks nice. Nothing overly fancy, but still kind of close to what it used to be.
Is this for this season or is it next season?
That's a good question.
Yeah, those medals are cool.
I think the medals for season 31 have been added.
They're nice.
Oh, it is the new model. Okay, cool.
All right, who made it? Who made this model?
I looked it up a second ago.
So I'm just like bombarding you with questions. I just don't know.
Well, you won an award. You're the king here.
All right, yeah, that's right. I need to. I haven't been rubbing it in enough. My bad.
Do we have any other topics?
No,
I don't have anything, I think, yeah. Yeah, that's everything we wanted to cover, I think.
Yeah, so all that's left to do now is complain to Aoshi about next season, right? I guess we can talk about, should we add a new map to the ETF2L season, or maybe we should just save that for a different show altogether.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms. Maybe we should just not do that.
Well, ECA just had a map, well, not ECA, but NATF2 just had a map cup made by Lucrative, so
Yeah, I love that.
we'll see what comes out of that.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't love is that they didn't have synthetic in there. Yeah, otherwise.
Yeah, I would have liked synthetic over propaganda. Propaganda is just too much of the same, I think. Just too process sunshiny. We don't need more of that. Like, if anything, we need something slightly more different. So map choice is actually better, like playoffs. But who knows? I haven't looked at Kalinka in ages. I haven't seen what else is there, Alamosa ever, and I have no clue what Logjamp looks.
As
So,
far as
yeah,
I'm concerned, keep the map pool as it is. Just revert to last cap time on Badlands, and we're Gucci.
What about bringing back Reckoner?
No, it's the best map pool we've had. There's nothing to.
Wow, I can't believe you just debunked my theory, Ombrack.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just what I do.
I can't believe you just made me look stupid by not being pro Reckoner as a friendship part.
Well,
It's
the only
Batman.
pro Reckoner guy I know is Elacor, and he's not playing.
I
he's-
love Reckoner. The old Reckoner, anyway.
Well,
Like beta
that's
2 something.
people now.
Yeah.
That's
I
not
like
the time
Reckoner mid a lot. I don't know about the rest of the map, but mid was nice, I think.
Yeah, like Reckoner was fine. It just had an awful last point, and where you ended up being stuck for like 80% of the match.
Well, yeah, but like how many maps you can say that about is actually stupid, so like it's not the best argument I've.
The mid was weird because it had like two strats. You either went left or you went right. And that's basically it. And then
There were
felt
two
weird,
crates
isn't it?
you could stand on. You wanted to stand on.
yeah,
Maybe
and
we get a return of the beta map cup at some.
Yeah, should I
Ooh.
do another map cup? I don't know. The last time around, people didn't. I mean, a lot of low-level teams signed up. It was like 50 teams that signed up. That was nice. Just none of them were like good teams, basically. They were all.
It's always the same. People complain that we don't get to try maps before they're added to the map pool, but when they get a shot at rank the maps, they don't sign up.
Yeah. I even had like a prize pool. You got like
Yeah.
money to win it, and people still didn't sign up. So I'm not even. I'm just not really tempted to do another one, I'd say. But I mean, I do love that. Was it Lucrative that made Map Cup? I love that so much. and we need more of that. I just don't know if I have the motivation to actually make it. I've been thinking about it. Like, people will sign up if you do it through the ETF2L system. No, I don't know why I keep being more quiet. But yeah. All right. Let's just end this off before we start talking about maps though, and other things that will make Aoshi rip out his beautiful blonde hair. So let's do some shout outs and just end it off. So Aoshi, why don't you start out by doing some shout outs and telling us anything you follow about this season?
I thought it was a great season. I want to shout out Copenhagen Games and STN Trading for sponsoring the season, mainly. And then a cheeky shout out to my team from last season, Tracksuit Boys, for being amazing and being great for the past year that we've played together.
All right, and then we go with Yohn. I'm just going to jump around alphabetically. Do you have any shout outs there you want to give out here before we go?
That one time my mother made a cameo into one of my streams, and about 20 people commented in my chat about her appearance. So yeah, shout out to my mum.
That sounds very advertiser friendly.
All right. Oh, DuMmTm, do you have any wonderful shout outs?
Just a shout out to my boys over at Spy Boys. Most definitely going to win mid next season. Like, there's no way around it. Otherwise, I'm going to be disappointed. And yeah, that's basically it. It's like too many people to shout everybody out individually.
All right. What about you, Ombrack? Any shout outs?
Shout out to people involved in production and stream this season. Shout out to my people in Top 5 Discord. And I wish everyone happy holidays and Christmas and stuff like that.
Happy holidays. Gemm, what about you?
Shout out to the Brewdogs, whatever we're called, the Brewmasters, who like wouldn't at the start of the season and just died slowly towards the end of the season, like all of my teams. Shout out to all the casters and production people, especially Peter, who did more than his fair share, I think.
All right. Okay, and I will just shout out Yohn's mom as well, I guess, and just
two shout outs. Lucky lady.
Indeed. And then if you guys want to see the beta awards that are way better than these awards, just spam some kappas in chat and I will proceed to ignore it. But other than that, I will just shout out to Wiethoofd, who did production. Looked real fancy and nice. It's awesome. And then everyone else in this season and all the casters. You guys are the best. And all the viewers for watching as well. But other than that, I think there's nothing else to do than say have a Merry Christmas and have a good New Year. If we don't see you until then, who knows? I know there's a newbie cup or something going on around Christmas time. Is that before or after?
That's happened already, right?
Oh, it happened already?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
It announced on like the Wednesday, then happened like...
Well, tune in to not see it. My bad. All right. Well, Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year. Goodbye. Have a good night as well.
Yay.